So, welcome to Morning Sip, y'all. And SIP stands for Spirit and Practice. I am Rev Melissa, joining you live from New Thought Media Network. Yes, yes, yes. So, it's Monday, and so we are going into a new series today, Gladys. We're going into a new series. We wrapped up our 2-week series on habits, right? Doing the work, Lindsay. Yes, doing the work. And so I was sitting with, okay, what's the new series going to be, Vanessa? And I was like, I looked at my list. I was like, no, Tim, so I kind of let it go. Went about my business. So this morning I get up and I go to do my morning practice. And as soon as I sat down on my bed in my office, immediately, and we was talking about habits, right? So let's just keep that in mind. So immediately my mind goes, ooh, you should post on Facebook the Living Life in Joy from Carla because it didn't load up on your I Am Melissa page. Remember that? And I'm like, yeah, but not right now, right? So I do my reading, right? I said, tricky little booger. Nope. I did my reading, right? I read my Science of Mind magazine. I read my 365 Days of Richer Living book. I opened up my journal to do my inspirational writing. And this is what I write. I'm going to share with you all what I wrote today. So this was at 8:12 a.m. So I told y'all when I do my journal, I put the date, the time, the day, and where I am, right? So 8:12 a.m. And that's important to note because that is very late for me to be doing my inspirational writing, for me to be doing my morning practice, right? I woke up a little later and I kept bringing myself back to present because my mind was all over the place. So I said, maybe I need to do a sip on distractions because that's just what's happening right now. It is now 8:40 a.m. Now, mind you, when I started when I thought about writing in my journal and I only wrote my heading, it was 8:12 a.m. And now I'm writing and it's 8:40 a.m. So what happened between 8:12 a.m. and 8:40 a.m.? A big old distraction. Just do it real quick. Go on YouTube and see if it's there. Okay, I'm going to do that real quick, right? So I put my journal down at 8:12 a.m., put it down, went on YouTube, found the post, posted it on Facebook. Then I got distracted. Oh, let me post this. Oh, let me post this. Oh, this would be a good story. Let me put this in story. Oh, my ex-sister-in-law is in Mexico. Oh, let me see what she's doing in Mexico, right? Now is 8:40 a.m. Going back to what I wrote, I just spent the last 25 minutes on Facebook writing posts, reading other people's posts, responding to posts. I should have done a post that said #distractions. Let's look up that word, right? So I go and I look up the word and then I write, wouldn't you know it, there's a whole science around distractions. So I think the next series after habits is distractions. Just what I need. Just what I need, right? So I don't know if any of you can relate to that. Oh, Gladys. Yeah, Gladys. Distraction, an excellent subject we all suffer from. Yes. Oh, my goodness. But I'm going to do it a little different. We're going to marry our sip with another tool that we can use. So I don't know if anyone is aware that the New York Times is doing a 10-day fresh start challenge. And today is day one. So I posted this already on my page on Facebook the other day. So it's a 10-day fresh start series. So we're going to marry that with SIP. So if anyone would like to join me on this 10-day fresh start challenge, please go and sign up for the challenge. You can still do so. It's absolutely free. And it would be wonderful for us to journey with this together, right? So my congregation of joy, we could all do this 10-day fresh start challenge together as we unpack these SIPs every day, right? So today's focus is going to be on distractions, right? So I want to share a little bit from today's 10-day fresh start because it goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. And y'all know what? I could not have planned this all by myself. I'm telling y'all. So everything that we need is always available to us, in divine right time and in divine right order. So I want to share this. Today's challenge, day one, ask the question, how are you really? How are you really? So I would love to know the answer to that. So y'all could put that in the comments. It's a feeling answer. But let me just share a little bit. It says, today ask yourself, how are you really? Find a word that describes exactly what you're feeling, right? Emotions are brain messengers, and studies show that regularly labeling your emotions and creating a feeling vocabulary is good for health. And haven't we been talking about that, right? What is our feeling? What is the feeling tone, right? The emotion. Yes? All right. And so scientists call this the affect labeling. And there's science that indicates when you can label what you're feeling, it calms down the brain. It calms it down and it reduces stress just by naming it, right? A lot of times we want to avoid naming it. We want to act like it's not there. We want to ignore it, but it's much more powerful to name it. Just express it. Yes? Okay. They've done studies about this. You can catch up on this on day one if you sign up. So in reality, it says labeling the emotion tends to dampen it a bit so we can move on to other things, right? So this is all about our brain, right? It's activating different sectors in the brain. And the amygdala, which serves as the brain's emotional alarm system, is associated with stress response. So things start to fire, right? Things are firing up. So our brain seems to be wired such that as the front of your brain gets a clear understanding of your emotional state, the amygdala, you'll forgive me with the pronunciation, calms down a little bit so that the emotional alarm is less distracting, right? So it calms it down, reduces the stress so that we are what? Less distracting. And I have to tell y'all, when I wrote that in my journal, right? I wrote that in my journal. I went to the dictionary. I did all this stuff. I started to feel less distracted. And I was able to go back in and finish my morning practice. And the wonderful thing about this Fresh Start Challenge is that they give you at least 300 feeling words, 300 feeling words that you can use to identify the feeling, right? And you can go on and print that out for yourself. Great words, like really, really great words that you can use. I'm doing a quick span here, Tim, and I don't see survival on here. No, I don't see survival on there. Oh, okay. All right. So here go my cousin Denise. Sated means satisfied and full. And she's a teacher, y'all. So yeah, she's expanding my vocabulary right here and right now. Linda, content. Oh, we got a lot of content today. Okay, y'all. Okay. So my feeling, how was I feeling? I was feeling distracted. And once I identified that and acknowledged it, right, I was able to come back to my center. So I shared that I was distracted today, right? And so since I was distracted, I wanted to use that for my focus today, right? Because I'm oftentimes distracted. I am oftentimes distracted. And sometimes I'm able to bring myself back into focus quite quickly, most of the time, I would say. And there's other times I'm just like down the rabbit hole, especially if I start to seduce myself with the notion that this is related to ... Oh, wait, but this is related to SIP. So you can go on Facebook. Oh, no, but you can go on and read that article now. Oh, you see what I'm saying? Right? When it's any inkling that is related to something I'm supposed to be doing, I go for it. Right? Anyone else like that? I go in and then I could justify all the going in. Right? Oh, yes. So the article says identifying your emotions takes practice. It takes practice. I'm grateful that I've been practicing identifying my emotions for years. And I'm pretty good with clicking into what I'm feeling. Oh, yes. So distractions. Let's just delve into that a little bit because it's so in alignment with having a fresh start. It's so in alignment, right? So distractions mean this: to draw away or divert as the mind. The mind draws away or diverts. Distraction. Another definition: to disturb or trouble gently in mind, right? Gently in mind. Because you know what? Those distractions, they're very seductive, right? And they just kind of creep on you very gently. Like, just, ooh, come do this, right? Just for a minute. Come over here just for a minute. It's just going to take a minute. Come on, right? Gently in the mind, gently, so that you're not paying attention. No alarms go off yet until you're in it, until you fully in it. And then when you in it, you're like, oh, what happened? It was 8:12 and now it's 8:40. What happened? I got distracted. Diverted. My mind got diverted. It was drawn away from, right? Drawn away from. So the origins of distracting is to draw apart. Separation. Separating ourselves from our present moment. Separating ourselves from the presence that is always present within us. Because we are somewhere else. When we're in distraction land, we are somewhere else. Where was I supposed to be this morning? Doing my morning practice. Where was I? I was off in Facebook land, YouTube land, right? I ran around the corner to the dictionary. I was all over the place. And I had to bring myself back. After I identified what I was actually doing, like I had to have a conversation with myself. And we know the power of talking out loud, right? So yes, I had to talk to myself this morning and say, girl, come on back here and finish your morning practice. All that other stuff will be here when you get finished. And guess what? It is, it was, and it will be, right? So the opposite of distraction is traction. Are you getting traction in your life? Or are you just spinning around in a circle, not going anywhere? Are you getting traction? I love this word. Let's break it down some more. What's in distraction, right? Action. So there is disaction and distraction, isn't it? There's really no action happening that you intend for, right? My intention was to do my morning practice, but I was in disaction. Yes, I was doing stuff. Was that the action that I wanted to be doing? Was I getting any traction in my morning practice by being in disaction? No, no, right? So, any action that pulls you towards what you want to do with intent is where we want to be, because distraction is a lack of traction, and our mind seduces us to think that we are in traction, that we are doing stuff, we are moving forward with what we said we're going to do, right? Very seductive, right? Because it's all about bringing us back to where we're comfortable, bringing us back to the familiar, right? Where you going? Distraction. And I have to say, when I coach people, I tell them, do not engage your phone the first thing in the morning. Don't do it. Because, and it's not the technology, right? It's not the technology. What it is it's a distraction. The technology is doing what it is designed to do, to create habits for us, to create a habit of us looking at our phones and getting distracted, right? The data, the collection of data. You know what I realized for myself, and I don't know if this is true or not, but every time my iPhone says I need to do an update, I'm convinced now that it has collected so much data about my habits that it wants to incorporate it into the new operating system, right? So that more distractions can be uploaded in the system, right? It's just doing what it was designed to do. Yes? Okay, I'm going someplace else. Let me come back. So the point is, distraction starts from within. It starts from within. So the antidote, let's say, for distraction is to go within. To go within. Not to start doing external things. To go within. To do our morning practice. To meditate. To just spend some moments. It doesn't take that long to bring ourselves back to center, right? To take some deep breaths, to do a sacred pause, to bring ourselves back to center, to bring ourselves back to the action that we are desiring to experience in our day. Yes? So there's a whole neurological activity that is going on, right? It's just the way our brains are wired. And it's not something that we have to what's the word that I want to use? It is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. And it's very interesting and fascinating, right? And we can use it. We could use this amazing tool that we have. We can rewire it. We can reprogram it. We could upgrade it, right? We could update it like our phones do, right? We can do all of that with our brain. By what? By our habits. By our habits, y'all. Yes. So I was preparing, and I came across this study that was done by the University of California, Berkeley. And they basically did a study that showed that our brain refocuses our attention 4 times every second. Our brain refocuses our attention at least 4 times every second. And so we wonder why we get distracted. We wonder why we start wandering off. We wonder why our attention starts to go to other things. Our brain is wired that way. And so we can use our tools, right, to bring ourselves back to center, right? And we have to do it often. If our brain refocuses our attention 4 times every second, then just doing your morning practice ain't enough. It ain't enough, y'all. I would say at least once every hour to do something to remind yourself, right? To come back into the remembrance of who and whose you are, right? To come back to the center of who you are being, right? What your quality of God is. Say your affirmation, do your incantation, say a prayer, do something, right? Because the brain, every 4 seconds, it's like, oh, refocus, refocus, refocus. Yes. And so we have the tools. We have the tools that we can use. And whatever tool works for you, use that and use it regularly as a habit. As a habit. Yes? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm reading some of your comments. That's right, Nan. We don't need to feel bad about it. We could learn to manage it. We could learn to manage it. Yes, yes, yes. Be gentle with ourselves. Be loving with ourselves. Be consistent, though, and be vigilant, y'all. The watchman at the gate. We have the tools that we need. It's all within us to impress upon our subconscious mind, right? I was feeling distracted. I am not distraction. That is not who I am, right? So let's be clear. When we are declaring our feeling, we are not saying that is who we are. We're not using I am statements, right? We are saying I'm feeling. I am feeling this is not who I am. I am not distraction. I'm not going to say an affirmation. I am distracted. I am distraction. No, I'm not. I am joy. I am quickening. I am well-being, right? I am allowing. I am kindness. I am love. I am abundance. That is a way to bring ourselves back to focus. To bring ourselves back to focus. Because our intention is not to be in disaction. Our intention is to have traction in our lives, to be going in a forward momentum. Yes, to be in the bliss, Pamela. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So that's where we are. That's what we're doing. So homework for day 1, right? And let me just remind everyone, if you came on a little later, I'm marrying our SIPs with the 10-day Fresh Start Challenge that the New York Times is doing starting today. Today is day 1. You go to my page on Facebook. The information is there. You just click, you sign up, and they send you the challenges every day. And then you just read them and take action. Okay? And so today is about identifying our feeling. And I identified mine. My feeling today, this morning, because it no longer is, my feeling this morning was distraction. And will that feeling of distraction visit me again? Yes. Yes. And what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my practice. I'm going to do my practice. I'm going to speak to myself with love out loud. I'm going to say, girl, where you going? Come on back here. We're going to do this right now. And I'm going to take action. I'm going to take action. So identify your feelings, y'all. That's your homework. Speak it. And as you speak it, it reduces it. Because that's how the brain is wired. That's how the brain is wired. All right. So you can You could print out your feeling list, and this is available in day 1. They have great links to research and other resources to support you through this 10-day challenge. So that's what we're doing, y'all. That is what we're doing. I hope you would join on. If you decide, Rev Mel, I don't want to do a 10-day fresh start challenge, that's fine, because I'll have something else for you too, right? Like I did today. Distractions. Okay? All right, y'all. So I'm Rev Melissa. I am an ordained interfaith minister. I am a religious science practitioner, and I am a purpose coach. And if you need support, this is my ministry of joy, where I support people in living life in joy, connected to your yes. So if you need support through this process, if you need a fresh start and you want to do that one-on-one with Rev Mel, just reach out. Send me a DM and we can set up some time to do that. All right. All right, y'all. So we're living life in joy, connected to our yes. Yes. So I'm going to do a quick check-in with Sekou. Hey, Sekou, what's going on?
Quick check-in. Okay. So I did join the challenge, the New York Times thing. I joined it this morning, and I got the same information you got about that study they did. And it encouraged me to actually name a feeling, because I was kind of just glossing over it. I was like, yeah. But the more I read about the research about how naming it tames it, as Lindsay said, I was like, all right, well, let me actually do it. And the feeling that came up for me was anxious. And I was like, really? But why? And I had to chase it down. And basically I've been feeling a little anxious about the ending of the pandemic, because this, for me, has been the closest thing to a pause button I've ever experienced. And back when I was a kid, when people would ask what your superpower would be, I would always say a pause button. That was my superpower. I wanted to be able to just pause things while I continue to move forward and then catch back up. And so this has been the closest real life experience to that. And so I've been feeling like, well, have I done enough in this pause button period? Because I see the world is pressing play. Have I accomplished enough? And what came up for me is the fact that this past weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I ran my first 5K on Saturday and my second 5K on Sunday. And that made me feel better, because I was like, I could not have accomplished that pre-pandemic. Maybe my body could have, but my mind wouldn't have allowed me to, because I hadn't had yet the practice of pushing past the limitations of my mind. And I've mentioned this before. My relationship with my mind is a bit adversarial, because I need that push to get past the excuses. I have to have that kind of attitude, because during both of those 5Ks, it was a lot of this. It was a lot of this. There was so many times my mind was like, you know what? We've done enough. We've done enough. Sit down on this bench right here. Get a little water break. You know, like there was a lot of this. It was hard. It was hard to push past it. And I can only attribute that to the practice I've had, spirit and practice over the pandemic, of pushing past excuses, pushing past all those limitations that my mind gives me. And so, yeah, two 5Ks in 2 days. So I'm feeling like, all right, I don't need to be anxious. I accomplished something during the pandemic. I'm good.
I love that. And I love, because you just set us up for tomorrow's sip, because I share that mine was distraction, yours was anxiety. And so what is under that, right? What's under that? And, you know, there's a term that I often use, which is follow the feeling. Follow the feeling. So we're going to peel back, right? Because it looks like distraction, but if I start to peel that back, I will uncover even more, right? Yeah. We'll uncover even more.
Follow the feeling.
Follow the feeling. Follow the feeling. All right, Sekou. So I will see you all tomorrow. And remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? Speak it, acknowledge it, and then go and do your work. Go and do your work. All right, y'all. So we're living life in joy, connected to our yes. And how we doing that? In peace and in blessings, peace and justice. Yes. And so it is. And so it is. Follow the feeling.